All right, welcome back, BSA students. Let's get right into it. This explainer is basically your ultimate study hack for the LECPA taxation exam. We've optimized this session specifically to help lock these concepts into your long-term memory. We want to make sure that over the next 2 or 3 years, when you finally sit for those boards, this info is still right there in your brain, instantly accessible. We're using a super clean, distraction-free format today because we want to minimize your cognitive load and zero in on the exact details examiners absolutely love to test.
Here is our mental map for today. We're covering the concept of preferential tax, BMBE eligibility and registration, BMBE tax incentives, social preferential taxation, and we'll wrap up with a high-yield LECPA bullet review.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, Concept of Preferential Tax.
So before we just blindly memorize a bunch of rules, we kind of need to understand why these tax laws even exist here in the Philippines setup, right? Think of preferential taxation as the government's way of playing favorites, but, for a genuinely good cause. Instead of applying uniform, regular tax rates across the board, the government deliberately uses special rates, deductions, or even outright exemptions. It's essentially a targeted economic shield used to strategically promote economic growth or protect certain social groups. Moving right along to Section 2, BMBE eligibility and registration. Now, this is a massive focus area for the licensure exam, so listen up. The absolute most crucial thing here is the 3 million peso asset limit for barangay micro-business enterprises. But wait, here is a classic board trap. The value of the land where the office, plant, or equipment is situated is always excluded from that 3 million computation, always. Also, while BMBEs can do production, trading, or services, the law explicitly excludes services rendered by duly licensed professionals. What does that mean for you? It means CPAs, doctors, and lawyers absolutely cannot register their professional firms as BMBEs just to dodge income tax. No way.
And this step-by-step perfectly illustrates the chronological flow you need to memorize. You start off by filing the application over at the negotio centers set up by the DTI. From there, the LGU has to process it within 15 working days. If they charge a fee to cover admin costs, that fee is strictly capped at 1,000 pesos. Finally, you get the ultimate prize, the Certificate of Authority. This CA is valid for exactly 2 years. And yes, it's renewable. Seriously, lock that 2-year validity into your brain right now. 2 years.
All right, Section 3, BMBE tax incentives. We are now officially entering the highest yield trap area for the exam. Board examiners absolutely love testing the exceptions, so we're going to use a rule and exception cognitive hack here. The rule side, massive benefits. Total exemption from income tax. But, key detail, only for income arising purely from BMBE operations. They're also exempt from the minimum wage law, but you need to burn the exceptions on the right into your memory. BMBs absolutely still have to pay VAT or other personage taxes. They still have to withhold and remit taxes for their employees, and they are definitely still liable for documentary stamp tax. Bottom line, just because you're a BMB doesn't mean you're immune to all taxes. Next up, Section 4, Social Preferential Taxation. Let's shift gears to the tax treatment surrounding senior citizens and persons with disabilities, or PWDs. Notice the compounding effect of these benefits. It's actually pretty wild. For qualified purchases, think medicines, domestic transport, restaurants, qualified individuals don't just get a flat 20% discount. The sale is also completely stripped of the 12% VAT. It's totally zero-rated. On top of that, for basic necessities and prime commodities, there's a special 5% discount. But look closely at that specific limit. The total amount is capped at exactly 1,300 pesos per calendar week, and unused amounts cannot be carried over to the next week. Now, data tables are scientifically proven to aid your comparative memory recall, so let's lock in these percentages from the employer's perspective. If a private entity actually hires these individuals, they get additional gross income deductions. It's a 15% additional deduction for senior citizen salaries, provided they've been employed for at least 6 months and are below the poverty level. For PWD salaries and wages, it jumps to 25%. And look at that bottom row, a massive 50% additional deduction for the direct cost of facility improvements or modifications made specifically for PWDs. Quick heads up, don't let the exam blindside you with the lesser tested special groups. Beyond seniors and PWDs, you've got to remember that solo parents, national athletes, and employers who maintain para contributions also enjoy targeted tax deductions. Just keeping these categories in your peripheral vision is going to save you points on those really tricky multiple choice questions.
Finally, Section 5, LECPA Bullet Review. Let's wrap this whole thing up with a high-density active recall review of the most testable traps from today. If you literally only retain 5 facts from this entire explainer for your third-year boards, make it these exact 5 bullet points. Ready? 1. Land is always excluded from the 3 million peso limit. 2. Professionals are out, they don't qualify. 3. BMBEs still pay VAT and withholding taxes. 4. The employer's salary deduction is 15% for seniors and 25% for PWDs. And 5. That BMBE certificate of authority expires every 2 years.
As you continue on your CPA journey, I want to leave you with something to really think about. If preferential taxation intentionally breaks the rules of uniform taxation just to favor specific groups, at what point does it stop being an economic shield and start becoming an unfair advantage? Tax laws are inherently this delicate balancing act between generating revenue and promoting social justice. Keep mastering these concepts, trust your study process, and you are absolutely going to crush the LECPA. Catch you on the next explainer.